Thank you for coming out to demo time. Welcome to the Vegas Programmers offshoot of our monthly meetup, which is this dedicated to startups, entrepreneurs, pet projects, you name it. So we're excited to have 3 awesome demos lined up for you today. The first we have here is BK with a pet project he's done called SongStrudel. I'm very excited to hear about that. We also have Lee with Peaceful Revolution. There might be a different name for that. Is Lee here by chance? Okay, cool.
That works. A game about Peaceful Revolution.
Bingo. Cool. And then we have Meuy with Unbox VR. There you are. Okay, cool. So awesome. Well, let's get right into it. And you know, basically the format of this is about 10 to 15 minutes for the demo, and then we'll leave some time at the end for questions and things like that. Cool. All right. Without further ado, BK. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and put that on.
Are we just on here?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hi. You can call me BK or Brendan or BK Brendan. I don't know. So we'll start with this pet project that I've been working on for a couple of months. Took a break, came back to it. I just want to ask, is anyone here a musician or does music at all? Any? Okay, I like this. This is good. This is perfect. Because actually, I want to get your reaction. So I'm going to just throw a phrase out there for you guys, and I want to see if any of you have any idea what this could be referring to. So, does anyone know what that is? Anyone want to take a guess what that is? Yep.
Is that Flamingo Street after 2 a.m.?
Now I'm upset that I didn't put that joke into the slide because that's a good one. 8 bars of hell. Any
Dragon Force song?
maybe like 800 bars of hell. So,
Trying to improvise over giant steps?
okay. We're kind of circling the idea here, so I like these ideas. I want to see if this YouTube link works because how does this work? Oh, there we go. Okay. So, are we up?
Yeah, go ahead, hit play, and let's see.
Should be. Wait, give it a sec. Thank you. It should be. If we can't get it to work, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, as long as you guys can hear the laptop, that should be enough. So this is a project that I started working on with my friend. I'm just going to play this through, and maybe you guys can tell me what 8 bars of hell is after taking a look at this. Like a loop. But why is it 8 bars of hell? How do I get back to the... Okay, thanks. So, 8 bars of hell. It is what happens when you produce the sickest 8 bars ever, and then you just get stuck listening to it for like 30 minutes on a loop. And by the end of it, you have no creative energy left, you're drained, you save it saying you'll come back to it later, and then you never do. And that's why my projects folder is filled up with hundreds of 8-bar loops, right? Just like a lot of other people, it's a very common thing. Stuck in the loop, right? I can make something catchy for 4, 8, max 16 bars, but I can't do it. I'm going to lose the motivation. How do you get out of the loop? I can hear it in my head, but I can't develop my ideas. It's such a thing that people start memeing on it. Post your favorite 8-bar loop that you've never finished, right? So this is a really common issue that plagues music producers everywhere. And it really comes down to just the creative flow. I mean, a lot of us here are programmers. It's kind of like jumping right into coding without actually thinking about the app. And you make something cool, and then you're like, okay, now what? And then it sits in your repo forever, and you never finish it, right? And people have a lot of advice for this. Create a strong hook. Do your drums first for the whole song. Have a reference track that you can kind of anchor yourself to, and these are good ideas. But that's not really solving the problem, is it? That's kind of like, I want to be healthy. Here, eat an apple. Eat some peanut butter. Eat more veggies. It doesn't really address the underlying principle of the problem, right? This last one's kind of better. Use markers. So this is kind of getting closer to it. It's about structure. And really, the best advice that anyone can come up with is easy. Compose the whole song before you even open the DAW, the digital audio workstation, or the looper. Have the idea, have the structure before you get into it, right? Because we all know the quote, failing to plan is planning to fail, right? So I thought, how do I do this? How do I do this without going overboard and recreating the digital audio workstation while still making it useful? Because fundamentally, in pre-production, when you think about a song is just a matrix, right? You have elements like instruments, drums, bass, guitar, vocals, and then you have sections, intro, verse, chorus. So what's playing and when? You might end up with a table that looks like that. And that's fine, right? But that's not detailed enough. There are lots of songs that fit that exact format. So we want something a little bit more involved, but we also don't want to throw the kitchen sink at it, because then you're just creating the new problem, the old problem in a new space. So there's a lot to put in, like tempo, section lengths, chord progressions, recording, and I've thought about putting all these things in, but I don't want to do that. I actually wanted to kind of make a Goldilocks app where we can have a representation of dynamics, the ebb and flow of music. We can also have a record of artist intent so that when the artist looks at it, they go, oh yeah, I know what I was thinking. And also the preservation of creative freedom, because you don't want to kind of architect yourself into a corner when you're producing something, right? So I started sketching it out, and I came up with something like this. So instead of a table, you have sections that have different cells. If you look at the intro here, the drums, the first row there, the drums are not playing during the intro. They'll play at the end. So I'm guessing that's like a fill, like that goes into the verse with notes to tell you what that is. I can read those notes and imagine exactly what I was thinking, right? And this is kind of faint. It's kind of hard to see, especially on the projector, but that last cell of the guitar row in the verse is a little bit more intense than the one that's in the main body of it. So that's telling me the guitar is kind of playing in the verse, but it's going to ramp up at the end. And I'm sure that if I had notes there, I would know exactly what I was talking about. And I iterated and iterated, and I came up with something that looks like this. So something with more colors, something that's more visually anchoring, something that I can look at and just go, I know what I'm trying to produce. And I can get through this whole song before I even get stuck in 8-bar loop hell, right? So you have a quick little description. This is a disco song, falsetto vocals. It's like the Bee Gees, right? and color-coded different instruments that have different intensities and brightnesses to kind of give you an idea of what's doing what and when and how with notes. And, you know, copying, pasting sections. I wanted it to be kind of easy. I might implement a drag and drop later, but for now, this is kind of where I am. And I actually want us all to try it. We'll take out our phones and do this, and then you guys can give it a shot for a few minutes, and then I can ask you guys for some feedback, and you guys can also ask me your questions too. So I'll give you a QR code in a sec, but I'm going to tell you what to do first, because if I give you the QR code now, you'll just scan it and start poking around and stop listening to me. So create at the top, tap that. You'll get into something that looks like this. It's a new song. You won't get those sections. You can add those and add the instruments. And I just want you to poke around in it and see how intuitive it feels to you, because that's some feedback that I'd like to get. Right? And for those of you that do choose to sign in with Discord, that's the only one the only provider that I've implemented so far. You can be taken to a dashboard where you can manage visibility and privacy and the arrangements that you've created. All right? So take a few minutes, see how you guys like it, and I'll be here if you have any questions. Josh, how much time do we have?
We've got 10 minutes still.
Okay, we can take like 3 or 4 minutes to kind of just poke around in it, and we'll have a few questions afterwards. Is everyone able to get to it? Is it? I can just try to get closer to it. Well, it's going to take a beautiful picture of it. Thanks. I could give you the URL if you want to go to it. I forgot to put it up there. SongStrudel, and it's a Vercel app. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is everybody able to get to it, or is anyone having some trouble?
Am I in the right place?
Yeah, you are. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Yeah. And that arrangement is saved in local, so if you come back to it, you're not going to lose your progress. So, in case you ever do want to come back to it and save it, it's there.
I have a question. So,
Okay.
have you tried using this yet to produce a song?
Yeah, I actually have.
Okay.
Um,
I'm curious, like, how many, is there a typical kind of set amount of things here, like in the sense of, it looks like you can keep adding sections,
Yeah.
right? Is there typically like 3 or 4 sections in a typical 3-minute song sort of thing, or is this more designed just for however really you want to lay out your sections?
it's the latter. It's really down to however someone wants to do it. I think I could probably pull up a couple of examples.
So the idea would be that you would have this open next to your audio workstation. That way you can kind of keep referencing to build your song.
Yeah, that's exactly the idea. The main one that I wanted was for it to be mobile, because I knew that if I started building out all these features, I wouldn't be able to fit them on a phone screen. And at that point, you're just going to sit down in your audio workstation and just build it out there anyway. Because you can do that. You can put placeholder things and dummy sections in, and you can write down your notes there. But it's kind of like a guardrail, right? Because if you give people too many toys, they're going to start playing with the toys, and then they'll get lost in the weeds of it. So this is like sitting in the coffee shop bored. I'm going to sketch out a song idea.
I accidentally deleted one of my sections. Can I bring it back?
No, I need to implement a safeguard for that. Yes. Yeah, like, let me think. Here's one. So this is from my friend. He used this to produce an EDM song. He has not released it yet. You can kind of see he's not really writing notes because I think he already has it in his head. But he's got drum, bass, melody, a riser that kind of goes into a drop here. So it's really up to you how you want to structure it. Yeah.
Is this based on any music production industry standard, or is this kind of something your team has come up with?
Something what?
Something your team has come up with as a new way to visualize the structure of a song? Or is this like something that's like in a music producer's book somewhere that nobody's actually proven at?
My team of one has come up with this. Yeah. Well, because there's so many different ways to notate music, right? There's the traditional way with the 5 bars, and but I think people haven't found a good way to like write down intention. Or if they have, it's annoying, right? Because imagine drawing this on a notebook. Or imagine like making a table in like Apple Notes or something to try to make this work. I think it's just easier to have a web app that you can just tap, 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 and then write a couple of notes down.
We have any time, but maybe you could demo like what it would be like to like a song like "Row Your Boat." What would that look like in SongStrudel?
Row, row, row your boat. It would be,
Or something public domain, or try house.
yeah, it would be one column, vocals, and then another column, the second group of vocals that comes in.
Yeah, but I think that would make it like an interesting demo. Is if you like took like a song that everybody knows, and like show how it can be plotted out.
Okay, sure.
You could do something simple like Jingle Bells.
Sure, in the spirit of Christmas. I don't know how much time we have, like 4 minutes? I mean, what do you...
Anything by Meatloaf.
Check the HDMI there. Did the HDMI fall out?
Oh, did it?
Unplug it, plug it in.
Yeah.
There.
It's a little loose. Okay, I mean, well, let's say, because people keep on remaking Jingle Bells, right? So I think the first most important thing is bells, right? And probably some vocals. What else is in Jingle Bells? Okay. Maybe some drums and yeah, and some guitars. Okay.
Kind of like percussion, kind of like.
Yeah.
Theremin?
Oh yeah. Sure. Theremin. Why not? So how do you want the intro to our Vegas programmers, like Jingle Bells, to go? I think we start with some bells, kind of fading in, maybe getting a bit louder towards the end of the intro. And then maybe a hint of a piano. And we go into verse, dashing through the snow, right? Are the bells still there?
The bells are nice. Keep the bells.
Okay, we'll keep the bells.
Extra jingle.
just, it's just an assault of bells. There's this like one quiet mousy vocal, like dashing through the snow. Yeah. But I hope you guys can kind of see how being able to put this in, I'll be able to come back to this maybe months later and go, I think I know what I was trying to do. And it's quick and it's low investment. You're not going to be spending hours trying to build out every detail of a loop. You're finished with the song. Now you just have to go fill it in, right? You architect your app before you start coding. You design the building before you lay down the foundation, right? You build the scaffolding before you build everything else. This is the idea behind it.
Maybe you build a library of like known songs in here.
That is something that I want to do. I want to like get existing songs and just kind of put them in and show, hey, here's how this song looks like this. But it's really up to you guys.
Probably make more sense to be about some composer at place district than I love composer, so.
This is for producers, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you talked to any music producers, asked them for their feedback, because like they're professionals, like, would this be useful to you? Do you have similar tools, that sort of thing?
It varies. So I've talked to a few people, because there are some people that don't struggle with this problem at all. But there are a lot of people, especially beginners, that could really do with something like this. Professionally, I assume that like people who are industry professionals kind of have already gotten to a point where they have their own system. So this is for the amateur, for the hobbyist, for the beginner, kind of like training wheels when you're first building.
You know what might be interesting? Have you talked with Apple at all about using GarageBand as like, because they have like this magic GarageBand thing, which just produces loops over and over again. Basically produces those 8-part hells, but it's really fun to play with.
Yeah.
If you could like use something like this to be granular about when in your song you want to like have the bass come in, have the piano come in, that sort of thing. I mean, this sounds like a really good feature in a lot of different apps. If you could, I don't know how powerful it is on its own, but if you tie it into an API where you could actually use this to kind of graph out your story and then take that data and put it into a more sophisticated program, that might be something worth talking about.
That is a really challenging engineering thing because these programs don't talk to each other. Like there are like 10 different people who make these kinds of programs and they're all super proprietary. I think just now there are a couple of audio workstations that have released like an open format that's interoperable between the two of them, and that was like shockwaves. That was a huge deal because everything is super proprietary in this field, right? So, I mean, possible, but feasible? I'm not sure. Yeah.
I mean, I think, is Free Loops proprietary or is that open source?
It's super proprietary. They pretty much all are.
Okay, I mean, is there a way, okay, so you said that you thought about or you didn't want to create this another like audio mixing program or whatever, right? So is
Right.
there a way that you can do like this and to generate some kind of like template maybe for what the song would like look like? And then you could like ask people to like open source kind of like build the audio mixing system and solve that for the rest of the world yourself, right? Because everyone wants to go proprietary and the rest of the world is like, hey, we want open source stuff now. You have now an in for generating templates for an open source like music mixing platform, right?
Sure.
Obsidian, right? Like made their
Yeah.
like .canvas file or whatever open for image generating. And they're kind of like traveling that stream right now because they have the same problem with images that are always controlled by proprietary systems and everything. And they're like, hey, we want to just generate images for everybody to like use, but everybody has proprietary stuff. We will just make it open source image type or whatever.
Like, that's a really good idea. Like if I could find a way to like pull this data out and make it work with one of the couple of open source ones that exist, just to see if it could be done, so that it could just, boom, you've got sections in a template. That would be ideal. Yeah.
I mean, you could just export your state as JSON in a way, and then if you use that as a temporary standard until, unless a better standard comes along, you can just say, hey, if you want to use this standard in your application, here's our API for it, here's how to import this data, and here's how we store the state.
Yeah, I mean, I could just go to one of those open source makers and say, here's the schema. Do you want to help me turn this into a template?
Yeah. One more question. Okay. Where can people give you feedback if they want to get in touch with you? Do you have any contact information on there? Or I can update the meetup with your email too if you want me to do that.
Yeah, just drop it's my email, bkshotsky.
I'll totally
He'll show you how to spell it.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Thanks for the feedback. Super helpful.
My name is Lee. I'm new to Las Vegas. Officially, I came here for work.
Sorry, 1 second.
Good. Hello, and thank you all for being here today. My name is Lee. Officially, I'm new to Las Vegas. Officially, I came here for work. Unofficially, I came here to create my dream. I dream of creating a game about peaceful revolution. It will be about activism gamified and the many ways to protest. It will create a new political party and an actual revolution, because revolution is necessary. I'm looking for co-founders, dreamers, and change makers to help me create this dream. As I've said, Humble Deeds will be a game. Users will earn points and create tokens based on many actions. How will it work, grow, and scale? It will be a community of change makers. Oh man. By change makers and for change makers. We will work together to create the change that we wish to see in the world. We will provide proof of work, and I'll explain what that means later. Accountability will be necessary for there to be trust. There will be no hate speech, no fake news, and identity verification will be required. Documentation is required, and proof of work is required. People power can change the world. We can change the world. We will take action. We will take steps to make a positive impact by reducing our carbon footprints and by supporting sustainable products. We will stop dreaming and we will start doing. Vote with your money. Vote for change. Humble Deeds will be a habit tracker, a food tracker, and we will eat less meat and dairy to earn points. We will share food. We will organize food drives. We will shop secondhand because fast fashion is destroying the planet. We will organize clothing drives. We will volunteer, and all forms of volunteering will earn points. We will support small businesses because supporting small businesses is extremely important. Attention business owners, trust is earned with actions, not just handshakes. We will demand that businesses make better choices for the environment, like steering away from single-use plastic items. And we will bring our own cups to work. We will lead by example in small ways to create big change. We will reduce, recycle, and reuse. We will say no to plastic. We will conserve water. Some people like to say, water can neither be created nor destroyed. And while that may be true here on Earth, that is a ridiculous position to take when someone is advocating for water conservation. Because the fact of the matter is, many places, I practice this too. Because the fact of the matter is, droughts are becoming more and more common in many places, and if we don't take steps to conserve water, then many communities are going to have worsening and worsening water scarcity. Users will earn points for conserving water, and users will earn points for conserving energy. Listen, nobody is perfect, but every time we decide to eat less meat, every time we choose not to consume dairy, and every time we refuse to use single-use plastics, we will make a difference. And corporations will have to take notice and adapt, or they will perish. We will create eco-markets. We will reinvigorate farmers markets. We will bring back flea markets. And we will normalize repair cafes. For those of you who don't know what a repair cafe is a place where volunteers come together to fix things for people free of charge. There will be an e-commerce on the app, and artists can sell their wares on Humble Deeds, the app as well. Also, it will be a cryptocurrency, a crypto social currency. And just so there's no confusion, I'm not here looking for venture capitalists to invest in this idea. Humble Deeds will be a nonprofit, and nobody will be able to buy shares or obtain company ownership, which means if anyone here helps to co-found Humble Deeds the game, you will be limited as to how much you receive in compensation. You will not get shares, and you will not get a percentage of the company, and neither will I. 90% of our profits will be redistributed back into the community because Humble Deeds will not be capitalism as usual. It's time we prioritize people and planet over profits. Yes, climate change is real. What team are you on? A proper definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The red pill, blue wave crap does not work. Maybe it used to work before the Electoral College and before gerrymandering, but it hasn't worked for a while, and it's about time we do things differently. It's time to create a new political party. It's time to change the system from within the system. We need to find our common ground. I will never vote for a Democrat or a Republican ever again. Choose wisely. Your vote is your voice. Your vote matters. And how you spend your money matters too. Vote for our future. Use your vote to make politicians take action against climate change. Teach others why elections are so important and how elected government officials can fight climate change but continually fail to do so, and why revolution is important. There are many ways to protest, and Humble Deeds the game will not focus on marching in the streets because there are many other and safer ways to protest. I do not agree with the recent National Defense Authorization Act and spending $886 billion in 1 year on defense. Shit, that's all right. I do not agree with sending any military aid to Israel. I do not agree with the decision our representatives made to veto the United Nations declaration for a ceasefire in the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I do not agree with Citizens United, gerrymandering, the Electoral College, or with the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. Nor do I believe that shell corporations or tax havens should exist. It is because of these reasons I believe revolution is necessary. 1 second. And I hope to create a game about peaceful revolution, but I need help. I need co-founders, and I need people to share this message and to share humbledeeds.com. Does anybody have any questions? So it's going to be a game, and all of these deeds will earn points towards the token. So you document what you eat, and if it's a meatless meal and a dairy-free meal, you'll earn more points.
Each point goes towards many efforts.
Yes, there's many, many ways to earn points to create tokens.
Do you have a list of agendas that are priority to be launched first?
Yeah, pretty much the ones I went over, like eating less meat and dairy, abstaining from single-use plastic.
That's number one. And two?
I'd say number one is changing your political identity to help create a revolution, to change the system. Go ahead.
I was a technical co-founder of the Meuy X, 2014, raised $11 million through crowdfunding for campaign finance reform. I don't know how to tell you this, except by being blunt. There is no app there. There's just a bunch of ideas and the way you present them. And I consider myself a little bit to the left of Karl Marx, and I'm an openly out trans woman. It makes you sound like a leftist loony. And what you need to do is focus on one of those things. It's obvious if you want to gamify it.
Right.
The game has to be fun.
Right.
And getting points for doing stuff that maybe you don't want to do is not necessarily fun.
It doesn't have to be fun, because the point is,
If you wanted to do it.
no, the point is you're making a change, and you're going to change the future by making changes.
Most people, and I say this with all due respect, most people don't want to change. The question is, how do you incentivize them to change? And I don't see a solution for that in your
Winning.
mouth.
They get the most points, they win.
That's the thing. It'll become a community of change makers actually changing the world by changing their habits. And you will earn points towards tokens and rewards, like discounts on other products.
But to speak, excuse me, I'm sorry, to speak to my friend over here, I kind of agree that games need to be fun. This is a little disingenuous.
See, I feel like they don't need to necessarily be fun. It's not a game that's going to consume your time in the sense that most video games do. It's a game that's going to create change. And just being part of that change and part of that community is encouraging. It's inspiring.
Okay, I'm listening. Can you give me an example of that type of game?
So you're eating a meatless meal. You take a picture of it, and there's an algorithm that gives you points for that. If you conserve water and energy, you earn more points. If you support small businesses, you earn more points.
But the points are not why Pac-Man is fun. The points are running away from the ghosts and trying to solve the maze. Those are fun. Those are the people really don't care about the high score if the things you have to do to get a high score aren't fun, like giving up meat, like taking.
Of course it's not fun, but it's change that needs to take place, in my opinion, and I believe others believe this too. So it's being a part of that community. It's not about having fun while you're doing it. Of course people are going to have fun. People that get out and volunteer and realize how enriching it is to rebuild a community or clean a park, that's fun for a lot of people.
Allow me to make an example. Maybe instead of getting points, when they do good deeds, after they've done a certain number of good deeds, they get a letter of congratulations from a random grandma. People would be motivated by that versus an arbitrary number going up.
So that's just it. It's not an arbitrary number. It's going to create a cryptocurrency, a social currency that will be respected by other people and can actually be used for goods and services.
Well, you can make it Nana coin. You know,
What?
Just, you can make it a cryptocurrency that grandmas determine whether or not you get the currency for what you've done. I mean, it's not a bad idea. Like, it sounds like a joke, but the fact is that people are motivated by incentive, and I can't imagine anybody.
I don't think all people are necessarily motivated by incentive, but I get what you're saying.
The
What's
word
the incentive?
incentive
Is it
is
monetary incentive or is it emotional?
See, I believe it's both. I believe just being part of a community and knowing that you're in a community that's actually making changes would be very rewarding.
But that's the thing. The people who would find that rewarding don't need a point system to find it rewarding. They already find it rewarding. They're
True.
already going out and they're already
But this way they can be a part of this community that's making the changes and not just doing this on their own.
You can organize it. Like, I feel good if I don't eat meat because I saved the pig from being tortured.
Right.
That's my own little thing, maybe. Somebody's own little thing. But if you gamify that and now it's more of a public badge, that adds
Exactly.
environment maybe for
It's a
that.
social currency.
Yeah,
It's like proof of work. It's proof that you're making changes and you're contributing to a future that you want to see.
I don't necessarily see how good people do through this app is going to offset the bad that you'd have to do to run cryptocurrency mining and things like that.
And that's where revolution comes in, because revolution is necessary in this country. There are many things wrong with this system. Many things need to change. And choosing these red and blue camps and fighting amongst ourselves has solved nothing over the last 50, 60, 70 years.
I've literally written books on what it would take to get a third party viable.
That's fine. Who cares? Throw the book out the window. It's time to start doing what we want to do.
You're asking me to throw the book I wrote out my window.
Yeah, I am. I'm asking you to believe in something that people say can't be done. Because yeah, there's been a lot of third parties that have floundered and flunked and didn't succeed.
What is an inappropriate discussion for technical meetup?
But it's fun.
What is politics? I don't mind it.
I don't mind it either, but it's kind of not what this
It's exactly what my app's about, though. It really is.
I don't mind the presentation. I'm just saying this argument we're starting to get into political.
Okay, true,
I
true.
want to get into political.
Okay. No, it's a good point. It's a good point.
One more question. BK, go for it.
So it really seems like the game is not really the point. The point is the political revolution that you want
Right.
to start, right?
Yes.
So the game itself is the vehicle that you're saying is going to enable this thing to happen.
Correct.
I know that there's just one more question, but it's the big question of how and why would this be more effective than just going into organizing? Going
Great
into
question.
activism
Great question.
The way that it's already been done.
How is by creating the new community, the community of people who are going to lead the revolution and be part of the revolution and not caring about the red and blue bullcrap anymore that hasn't worked. So that's the how. I mean, it's complicated. What revolution isn't complicated, right? But if you don't agree with the way the system is right now, you could potentially be a user of this app and a revolutionist. And that is the important part, because revolution is necessary. If you don't believe that, fine. But you're kind of a blind idiot if you don't think that the system needs to change, that a lot of things need to change.
Just thinking of the technical challenge to doing this kind of social engineering through a game. That's the question that I still have.
Right. So to answer this really quickly, just bringing people together, because the social medias that we currently have, they're cesspools, right? It's just arguing and fighting and division. And so this app will be designed to bring people together in their communities to communicate and find that common ground and the compromise and realize we all pretty much want the same thing. And the people in charge don't give a crap. And it's evident in the laws that they make and the laws that they don't make.
I agree with you. What you said about bringing people together, communities. Your idea is about bringing communities together. I like that. Thank you very much.
Real quick, one more. No?
I think the marketing has to be a little bit different. You want to organize people.
Probably.
Right? You said you want to change opinion. You told him to throw his book that he wrote and like research out the window. Right? That's tough. You can't alienate
Yeah.
people and be like, I want you to
No, you're right. It's very difficult to get this message across. It really is.
For revolution's sake is rough.
Yeah.
You're like, what's the point, right? And then who dictates what true is? I'm not letting people dictate what I think is true.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. So then it comes down to issues and topics, right? And how we need to communicate.
Where things don't have to address.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Lee. So humbledeeds.com, right? Okay. All right. So last up here, and by the way, like the demo time and stuff like that, he's trying to build something here, right? And some ideas come out of, you know, an idea, right? So I didn't want to tell him, no, he can't, right? This is his idea. He's passionate about it, obviously. So we're going to give him that space to do that. So Meuy with VR, Unbox VR. He has a very interesting idea here that I think, I personally, every time I've used VR, I've gotten motion sickness. So I'm very interested to see how he's going to solve this. Thank you. Yeah. Go ahead and put that away.
Thank you. I didn't think I was going to be speaking today, but I'll talk. So my name is Meuy X, and I'm the founder of Unbox VR. So I've been using VR for a long time, and we kind of started out with this, with a phone. And then we bought, an adapter? Yeah, put it in there. And that was pretty cool. You could watch videos, see 3D pictures. Then we go from this to like a Quest 1, which had like tracking and I believe it had pass-through. And it was better, right? It was a better experience. And then we go to like a Quest 2 right here. Anybody ever use this? This is a Quest 2. Wow, only one person? 2, 3, 4, all right. So this is better than the Quest 1. The graphics are better, pass-through's better, the tracking's better. Of course, it's gotten better. So that's the Quest 2, it's gotten better.
That's an Oculus?
Yeah, Oculus Quest 2. So these are remotes. These are the rings for tracking your thumb. So you can rest it on here. It knows when you're trying to grab something. So these are the remotes for it. So that's that. And then we go to this. This is a Quest 3. So this has an aftermarket attachment to it. It's pretty good. So what's different is that the lenses are different from, this is like a Fresnel lens, like a Fresnel? This is a pancake lens. So pancake is much clearer. The clarity is better, the graphics better. It has depth sensor. It has a color pass-through now, so you can see colors. Here's just black and white. But here's the remote for it. So what's the trend? The hardware is getting better, right? It can deliver more power. This has tracking. This doesn't have the ring tracking anymore. So it's just like this. So this is better. But there's a problem that most people don't see, is that while the graphics are getting better, the hardware is getting better, the experience isn't necessarily. So if you ask anybody that's kind of into VR right now, you ask them, what's the best game for VR? Some people will say Beat Saber, right? But this is a Beat Saber experience. It's like you're standing still and stuff is coming at you and you're like trying to slice the blocks or whatever. Is that the best VR experience? Is that all VR has to offer? I say no. I say we can offer more, but the problem isn't within the hardware. The problem is within the space that we have. So let's say we have, this is my play space right here, from here to here to here to here. So when we load into our virtual environment, we can move around in here. This is awesome, right? This is VR. I'm moving my arms, my legs, right? The problem is that your VR environment is going to be much larger than this. Let's say you're in Central Park, virtual Central Park in New York, right? And you're walking, you're like, hey, this is awesome, but there's a pond over there. There's a virtual pond that you want to go take a look at. How do you get over there? Obviously, I can't run into the wall. I'm going to hit myself, right? So what do? We use this to move forward. But what does this do to you? It totally ruins the experience, right? Especially when you had the ability to do it in here, right? So what can we do to feel like we're not stuck in this box? So that's where the name of the company comes from, is Unbox VR. So what we did was we're creating a system that allows you to reuse your space in a automated, seamless, and efficient manner. So to the user, they're never visually visually, physically, or mentally disjointed from their virtual experience. So the way that we know VR now is going to change next year when we're able to take that pawn, hold that image of that pawn, because that's your intended path, hold that vision, and turn you around and then unlock it here. Now you have more space to walk. So that's what we're trying to do, is create an automated system that does this infinitely. So you never, you experience a pause, but a pause isn't going to break the experience, especially when you have this much room to walk. So today, I can demonstrate how VR is. If you guys want to demo it, I'll be happy to show you guys, especially if you guys haven't used the latest hardware. But that's what we're working on. And we should have this public demo done by Q1 of next year. And we are designing it for Quest because they run Unity. And most of these hardwares that are going to be in people's hands are going to have Unity on it. So we need people to experience this technology, the most people, in the shortest amount of time, so that we can grow our traction and grow our company and go to these experiences and ultimately make VR mainstream. So that's my talk. Any questions?
One, are you hiring?
Yeah, we're always hiring.
Two, what do you use for UI interface? Coherent, or do you have, or are you just hard coding, or how are you doing that?
We're in the process of doing that right now. So what we did, so in the beginning of January, we started working, we hired an outside development team to develop our MVP. With our MVP, we need to answer 2 questions. The first question is, could it work? That answer is yes, it could work. The second question is, does it make a difference? Because even if it works, if it doesn't make a difference, then why even go after it? Yes, so it does make a huge difference in the spatial, I guess, immersion. And the third question is it a big enough problem where it's worth solving? Is it, Josh?
Yeah, standing still and doing VR sounds lame. So.
Yeah. I mean, VR is already kind of cool in this like stationary or semi-stationary experience. But when we get rid of that, that's when we can start seeing like real breakthroughs and real money being pumped into it. But yeah, we're hiring. So we're beginning to build. So everything's up in the air right now. We're not 100% sure on everything. But we do know one thing. We want to build it in Unity because that's the most users. And we want to make sure that this public demo is out by the first quarter of next year.
I got 2 questions. One is kind of a high-level thing. So like the issue now is you see the pond, but you can't walk over there because that's the wall of your living room. So you have to push up on the thumbstick. So you're seeing movement, but you're not feeling movement.
Correct.
Isn't what you're proposing just kind of switching that around?
Yes, exactly.
You're
So you're moving, but you're watching a still image.
But I mean, I'm not saying what's the point. I'm saying like I don't know how this is going to feel until I try.
Yeah, correct. And
Is it better? Like,
yes.
is it definitely better?
So I can only answer from my point of view because I'm only the few people that's tried it and has been testing extensively with it. Yes, it makes a huge difference. For me, I get motion sickness within 5 seconds if I'm moving with the joystick. That's why I can't use it.
And 2, like, how do you know the walls of your living room? Because when you're in VR, you're not
we
in
built,
your living room.
Yeah, we built a system to do that. So everything's automated. So once you get close enough to your wall, it tells you you're out of space. So ideally, you'll see a full frame of your visual. And once you get to this portion where it tells you to turn around, your frame turns into black bars.
So it's like an overlay that exists around you all the time.
Yeah, well, it's not an overlay. It's a part of, yeah, it tells you you're out of space, turn around. But it holds your intended path.
Like, they already do that, don't they?
No,
No?
they do not.
I think I know what you're getting at, and I think I can help you demonstrate it. Would you mind if I came up on stage?
Sure. Yeah. They have something like this. It's called walking redirection. Well, what that does is it makes you walk in a circle, and then you're going in a straight line. And you need a huge amount of space. So it doesn't work that way because no one's using it.
So I'm going to be a tree in the distance. You be the player.
Yeah.
And then walk towards me.
I'm out of
Run
space. Yeah. It's telling me to turn. right there, and now I can walk towards you. Exactly, and it does the same thing. You do this over and over, but to the user, you don't experience this break in immersion. So you feel like you have an infinite amount of space. So that's what we want users to feel.
Yeah, I think I get it, yeah.
You know, if you are a jogger, right?
Uh-huh.
You go straight line.
Uh-huh.
But physically, I mean, maybe visually you feel your environment, but in your brain, right? You usually get that kind of sense. You go straight.
Yeah.
But physically, if
Yeah.
you are in the VR, you actually
Correct.
redirecting, and then
Yeah.
you kind of
Yeah.
send a different signal to your brain.
Correct.
And then the user experience may not be, matching the
Yeah.
visual and then the
Correct.
physical replacement. I mean, it is, yeah. So would that be better if you have like a treadmill, but it's a 360 angle.
Yeah.
And then you can actually run
Correct.
as hard as you can into whatever direction. But if you go that way, the ground will actually move that
Correct.
direction. So you are actually in the center,
Mhm.
but you are running as hard
Uh-huh.
as you can, or you want to go backward, and the ground will move.
Yeah.
Ready Player One.
Well, see, the problem with the treadmill, it's very expensive. And they don't work the way that you expect it to. It does not work anywhere close to what we expect it to. But yeah, that's a good solution. But ours doesn't require you to buy anything.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How is
Oh, I get them first.
Yeah, kind of like to build upon his idea, where you're moving the screen constantly, or I guess once you reach a wall, why not have it always turning to the room? You're essentially going to map out the room, right?
There's already something like that called walking redirection, and what it does is it slowly changes your forward path, but you're walking in a circle. The problem with this is that you need a huge space for it to be even effective, and you feel like a disjointed, and how does the system know where you want to go? With our system, you can go anywhere. But yeah, there's already something like that available. It doesn't work because no one's using it. Yeah.
Now, you said that using the thumbstick to rotate, to actually move forward gives you the motion signal.
Correct.
What if you use the thumbstick to merely rotate your view so that your bounding box, which is your real life room,
Mm-hmm.
is relatively, you basically rotate the entire world with your thumb, so that you have some manual control, this automatic control, which this automatic, we're rotating the world complete step by that. That might be, I mean, like I'm just saying, have you tried like different experiments? I am so in on this.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk. But it's not the perfect solution, but I think it is the best solution. You still have to pause and turn. You have to follow the commands of the system. The big thing is not how it works, is that it does work to the end user. What the end user doesn't care how it works, just as long as it never breaks that magic for them.
I could see this being really cool for like close quarters games where like you're going through hallways or like because open fields, I think
Yeah.
going back and forth after a while might get a little bit repetitive. But going through like a building or something like that, I can see being really cool.
Yeah.
Right?
So in the future, you map out your whole house, and then it's going to put an overlay on your house. So when you go to different rooms and come out, it will use section of those rooms, and it doesn't look like your house anymore. So you can do this infinitely, and you're going through levels. So whatever game or application has to know your room, and then just sets up your room infinitely. So you're just going through your house back and forth, but you're not in your house.
Haunted house.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
battle
yeah.
in your own house.
Yeah. And then to add to your point, it makes sense to use this system in a small space. But what if you have a huge space, like a 200 square feet? It makes even more sense because you have all this rooms around, and then it's going to tell you to warn. Now I have another 200 square feet to use. Exactly.
Is there a hardware or just a software?
So we're working on the software side right now. We plan to build, we're R&Ding for hardware to come out in 2025. And just to give you a tidbit of what we're trying to accomplish is, everybody has this. This can run VR. So you're going to plug your phone up to your VR headset, and it's going to have everything necessary built into here. This will never get outdated because the hardware is running this. So you can give this to a friend, you can send this overseas. They could use a computer, a phone, tablet, anything they want. So this never becomes outdated. This is going to become outdated. In 3 years, this will be outdated.
Right, that makes sense, correct. I agree with you on that, but is there no hardware?
Not yet.
Because the hardware must not be outdated, the software will, right?
It's the hardware is going to be outdated.
So actually, I think Facebook is trying to build out Project Aria. If you've heard of it. Project Aria kind of overlays and maps out the world on top of the two cameras. You probably use that.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't came out with anything, so we're going to build it ourselves because we think this is the solution.
What's your pilot ideas for your hardware?
Hardware is just going to have, it needs depth sensors, it needs cameras, you need eye tracking.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me ask that. I'm not talking about the VR set. I'm talking about, is there anything else, hardware, associated with your idea to avoid the motion sickness?
No, it's all software.
It's all software.
Yeah, it's all software. The hardware is trying to meet the demand for a worldwide audience, that they don't have to buy another hardware that's going to be outdated.
What kind of funding do you have?
Right now, I'm spending a lot of my own money, but we're raising money right now. Yeah, we're passively raising right now. We're fortunate enough where we didn't have to raise money, but it's coming at a time. So we're in the beginning of next year, we're going into high gear, and we have a lot of interest from a lot of different investors. We just need to close on them. And of course, another thing I want to share with you guys real quick is the California Forever project. So we're trying to get a partnership with them to build their city. They're actually trying to build a real city in Solano. So that's a great opportunity to showcase our technology with their project as a backdrop. So.
Yes, okay, I have a question. I just want to clarify, because I'm not really understanding. I get the idea on software. And when I say software, I'm talking about the hackers. I get your idea of like, there's an open world, you're running around. Right now you're limited. But if you want to run around and your software is following that, right? Still, I see that you still need some sort of a hardware add-on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
A turntable, for example.
Correct.
It can spin you around. You don't have to really move.
Yeah.
It'll spin you around, but then your software application that you're talking about, that'll work in conjunction with it.
Yeah. So what the hardware has to have is it has to have spatial awareness. So it has to have sensors, cameras to know where you're at in your room. Because when you boot it up, you'll be asked to draw a play space. And it will either recommend one or say, hey, there's something in the way, you need to make this smaller. But yeah, it's built into there. The sensors and the data is all built in there. So it knows exactly what your play space is.
So you only see that as the only hardware
That has it.
You don't need to develop R&D any other.
No, we don't. So we're going to use this hardware for now, but we want to come out with our own hardware because we want to go a different direction than their proprietary stuff. So we want a non-proprietary VR headset that could be ran on anything.
One more question. Okay, all right. Thank you. Voice information is on the meetup, so if you do want to get in touch with him, I know he is looking for Unity developers. So get in touch with him. Other than that,
Thank you, guys.
we only have one more spot open for demo time in January, so if you do want to submit for demo time then, I'd recommend you do it ASAP. My card and a bunch of stickers are here at the front. Feel free to grab some and get in touch with me. But other than that, the Vegas Programmers Meetup is going to happen here in about probably 15 minutes. We'll get started just like 5 minutes later than usual. But thank you all for coming out, and check out the other meetups going around here too. Thank you.